Hey everyone, welcome back to Scary Tales Animal Encounters. Today we're diving into the harrowing story of Wayne Williamson, who survived a terrifying leopard attack in the African bush. You won't believe the twists and turns of this incredible encounter. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notifications bell so you don't miss any of our thrilling tales. Let's get into the heart-pounding story of Wayne Williamson's survival as he gives his account of the terrifying experience. The African bush can be a deceptive place. One moment, it's all birdsong and dappled sunlight filtering through the canopy, a picture of serene tranquility. The next, it can transform into a scene of raw, primal danger. This is the reality of the wild, where life and death hang in a delicate balance, and the hunter can quickly become the hunted. This was the reality I faced during a hunting expedition in the wilds of Mozambique, a story etched in my memory not for the thrill of the chase but for the sheer terror of a close encounter with death. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and the sweet aroma of wild jasmine as we set out that morning. Our guide, a weathered man named Joshua, moved with the quiet grace of someone born and raised in the bush. He knew this land like the back of his hand, its secrets whispered to him by the rustling leaves and the calls of the wild. We were tracking a bush buck, a graceful antelope known for its elusiveness. The hunt was proving challenging, the bush buck always seeming to be one step ahead. Little did we know a different kind of predator had set its sights on us. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting long shadows that danced and shifted with the gentle breeze. The air, heavy with humidity, clung to us like a second skin. Despite the heat, a shiver ran down my spine. There was a feeling of being watched, a primal instinct that set my senses on high alert. Joshua too seemed to sense a change in the atmosphere. He paused, his keen eyes scanning the dense undergrowth, his nostrils flared as if catching a scent on the wind. "Something's not right," he muttered, his voice barely a whisper. The feeling of unease intensified, a knot of tension tightening in my stomach. We pressed on, our steps more cautious now, our senses straining for any sign of danger. The bush, once a picture of tranquility, now seemed to hold its breath, a silent spectator to the drama about to unfold. The deceptive calm had been shattered, replaced by a palpable tension that hung heavy in the air. We were being hunted. We moved through the dense undergrowth, our senses on high alert. The bush, once full of the sounds of life, now seemed eerily quiet. Even the birds had fallen silent, as if sensing the imminent danger. Joshua led the way, his movements fluid and silent, his eyes constantly scanning the terrain. He was a master of the bush, able to read the signs and anticipate the dangers that lurked within its depths. We had been tracking the bushbuck for hours, its tracks leading us deeper and deeper into the heart of the wilderness. The terrain was becoming increasingly difficult, forcing us to navigate through thickets of thorny acacia and scramble over rocky outcrops. The heat was oppressive, the air thick with humidity. Despite the physical challenges, our focus remained sharp, our determination fueled by the thrill of the chase. However, the feeling of being watched persisted, a nagging unease that gnawed at our resolve. As we rounded a bend in the game trail, Joshua suddenly froze, his hand raised in a signal for us to stop. His eyes, wide with alarm, were fixed on something in the distance. Following his gaze, I saw it, a flash of spotted fur disappearing behind a thicket of bushes, a leopard. My heart pounded in my chest, a surge of adrenaline coursing through my veins. We had unwittingly stumbled upon one of the most elusive and dangerous predators in the African bush. Fear, primal and instinctive, gripped me. The leopard was known for its stealth and cunning, its ability to ambush its prey with lightning speed. We were out in the open, vulnerable. Joshua, his face grim, whispered, "Stay close, and whatever you do, don't run." His words, spoken with the authority of a man who had stared death in the face before, sent a shiver down my spine. The hunt had taken a deadly turn. We were now the prey. The realization that we were being stalked by a leopard sent a chill down my spine. The bush, once a place of adventure, now felt like a hunting ground, with us as the intended prey. We crouched behind a large termite mound, its rough surface offering some meager cover. Joshua whispered instructions, his voice barely audible above the pounding of my heart. "Stay low, stay quiet," he said, his eyes darting around, scanning for any sign of the leopard. The minutes stretched into an eternity. The air was thick with tension, every rustle of leaves, every snapping twig sending a jolt of fear through me. We were trapped in a deadly game of hide and seek, the stakes impossibly high. The leopard was out there, somewhere, watching us, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. Its presence was like a weight pressing down on us, suffocating us with fear. Then, we heard it. A low growl, guttural and menacing, emanating from the thicket just meters away. It was a sound that sent shivers down our spines, a sound that spoke of raw power and predatory instinct. The growl was followed by the unmistakable sound of rustling leaves, the leopard moving closer. We huddled together, our bodies tense, our breaths shallow. Fear, cold and sharp, clawed at the edges of my mind. We were cornered, trapped with a predator known for its ruthlessness. Time seemed to slow down, each second stretching into an agonizing minute. We waited, our senses stretched to their limits, our hearts pounding in unison. The leopard was closing in, its presence palpable, its intent clear. We were outmatched, outgunned. Our survival depended on our wits and the hope that we could somehow outsmart this cunning predator. The bush, once a place of wonder, had become a battleground, and we were fighting for our lives. The attack came without warning. One moment we were huddled behind the termite mound, tense but relatively safe. The next, the world exploded in a whirlwind of claws and fury. The leopard, a tawny blur, launched itself from the bushes, its roar a deafening explosion of sound. It slammed into me with the force of a runaway train, knocking me off my feet and sending me sprawling onto the ground. The impact knocked the wind out of me, leaving me gasping for air. I lay there, stunned and disoriented, the weight of the leopard pinning me down. Its hot, fetid breath scorched my face, its yellow eyes filled with primal rage, burned into mine. Its claws, sharp as razors, raked across my chest, tearing through my clothes and digging into my flesh. The pain was searing, blinding, but the shock and adrenaline dulled the full force of it. I struggled to breathe, the leopard's weight crushing me. Panic welled up inside me, threatening to overwhelm me. But then, through the haze of pain and fear, I heard Joshua's voice, a beacon of hope in the chaos. "Fight back! Don't give up!" His words, sharp and clear, cut through the fog of panic, reminding me that I was not alone in this fight. Summoning a surge of desperate strength, I threw my arms up, trying to shield my face from the leopard's snapping jaws. I could feel its teeth graze my arm, the pain sending another jolt through my body, but I held on, fueled by a primal instinct to survive, to escape the crushing grip of this formidable predator. The air was filled with the sounds of our struggle, the leopard's growls, my own desperate cries, the rustling of leaves as Joshua fought to reach us. The struggle was a blur of primal instinct and sheer terror. I thrashed and kicked, trying to dislodge the leopard, my movements fueled by adrenaline and a desperate will to live. Its claws dug deeper into my flesh, each swipe sending waves of excruciating pain through me. Its jaws snapped shut inches from my face, the stench of its breath filling my nostrils. I could feel my strength waning, the relentless assault taking its toll. Joshua, with incredible bravery, charged into the fray. He wielded his hunting knife, its blade glinting in the dappled sunlight, and plunged it towards the leopard's flank. The leopard, momentarily distracted, twisted its head, snarling at Joshua, giving me a precious opportunity. With a surge of adrenaline-fueled strength, I managed to shove the creature off me. It landed on the ground, momentarily stunned, its eyes blazing with fury. I scrambled back, my body screaming in protest, my clothes shredded, my flesh burning where the leopard's claws had raked across me. Blood oozed from the wounds, staining the ground crimson, but I was alive. I had survived the initial onslaught. However, the fight was far from over. The leopard, enraged by Joshua's attack and my defiance, shook its head, regaining its footing. It circled us, its eyes burning with murderous intent, its muscles coiled like springs ready to unleash another attack. Joshua stood between me and the enraged beast, his hunting knife held out before him, his stance one of unwavering courage. He was our shield, our only hope against the predator's fury. Our eyes met, and in that shared glance I saw the same primal fear reflected back at me. But beyond the fear, I also saw a steely determination, a refusal to yield. We were still alive, and as long as we drew breath, we would fight for our survival. The leopard, its sides heaving, glared at us with a mix of fury and caution. Joshua's intervention had bought us some time, but it was clear the beast was far from finished. Its eyes, burning with malevolent intent, darted between us, calculating its next move. We stood there, frozen in a tableau of fear and defiance, the air thick with tension. The bush, silent witness to our struggle, seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the final act to play out. The leopard tensed its muscles, ready to pounce again. But then, it hesitated. It had tasted blood, knew our strength, but it had also felt the sting of Joshua's blade. The predator in it, calculating the odds, seemed to decide that the risk outweighed the potential reward. With a final snarl, it turned and melted back into the undergrowth, disappearing as quickly as it had arrived. The silence that followed was deafening. We stood there, our bodies trembling with exhaustion and adrenaline, our ears straining for any sign of the leopard's return. But it was gone. We had survived. I cautiously touched my wounds, wincing as pain shot through me. My clothes were shredded, my flesh a patchwork of bloody scratches and puncture wounds. But I was alive. We had stared death in the face and emerged, battered but unbroken. We exchanged a look, a silent acknowledgement of the shared terror and the immense relief of surviving such a close call. The hunt, the thrill of the chase, all of it paled in comparison to the raw, primal fear we had just experienced. The leopard attack had stripped away all pretense, revealing the fragility of life and the thin line that separates us from the raw power of the wild. We were hunters, yes, but in that moment, we had been reminded that we were also prey. The walk back to camp was a blur of pain and exhaustion. Every step sent throbbing pain through my wounds, each breath a reminder of the crushing weight of the leopard. We moved slowly, cautiously, our eyes constantly scanning the bush, still wary of the leopard's return. The adrenaline that had fueled our fight was fading, replaced by a bone-deep weariness. Joshua, ever vigilant, kept a watchful eye on our surroundings, his hand never straying far from his hunting knife. He offered words of encouragement, his calm demeanor a steadying influence in the aftermath of our harrowing encounter. He shared his knowledge of local remedies, using leaves and roots to staunch the bleeding and soothe the burning pain of my wounds. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a stark contrast to the violence we had experienced. As darkness descended, the bush came alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, their calls a haunting reminder of the wildness that surrounded us. We stumbled on, our bodies battered but our spirits unbroken, driven by the desire to reach the safety of camp. The journey back seemed to take an eternity. Each step was a battle against exhaustion and pain, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. We leaned on each other for support, our shared experience forging a bond of camaraderie born in the crucible of fear and survival. The bush, now cloaked in darkness, held a new kind of beauty, a raw and untamed power that both terrified and awed us. We were intruders in this domain, humbled by the encounter with its fiercest predator, forever marked by the experience. The scars of the leopard attack, both physical and emotional, remained long after the wounds had healed. The memory of that encounter, the raw terror, the desperate struggle for survival, became a part of me, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the unforgiving nature of the wild. The African bush, once a place of adventure and excitement, now held a new level of respect, a healthy dose of fear that tempered my enthusiasm for the hunt. Looking back, I am struck by the lessons learned from that harrowing experience. The attack taught me the importance of humility, of respecting the power of nature and acknowledging our own vulnerability within its domain. It highlighted the crucial role of courage, not just in confronting danger, but also in supporting others in their time of need. Joshua's bravery, his quick thinking and unwavering resolve were instrumental in our survival. The encounter also underscored the vital role of knowledge and experience in the wild. Joshua's intimate understanding of the bush, his ability to read the signs and anticipate danger proved invaluable. His knowledge of local remedies, his calm demeanor in the face of crisis, were essential in our recovery. The experience served as a stark reminder that in the wild, knowledge can be the difference between life and death. The leopard attack left me with scars, both physical and emotional, but it also left me with a profound respect for the power of nature and the resilience of the human spirit. It was a harsh lesson, a brush with death that forever changed my perspective on the wild. The scars serve as a constant reminder of that encounter, a testament to the enduring strength of both the hunter and the hunted. The African bush, despite its dangers, holds an allure that continues to draw me back, but now I tread its paths with a newfound respect, a deeper understanding of the delicate balance between life and death that defines its existence. Wow, what a story. Thanks for watching this gripping episode of Scary Tales Animal Encounters. If you enjoyed Wayne Williamson's incredible story of survival, don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your friends. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss another thrilling tale from the wild. Stay tuned for more heart-pounding stories and we'll see you in the next adventure.